Guys, it's Cosmic Cubing, and this is how to solve a 3x3 Rubik's Cube using the beginner's method. Let's get into this. So, how beginner's method works is where you would solve the cross on the bottom first, and then you would insert the corners, all of the corners, just like that. Sometimes you will get an edge in, and that is very helpful. That will help your times get better if you do that. That was just luck. I wasn't even trying to do that. Then you would insert all of these edges in like this. So you'd insert them using one set of moves. So more likely you've never solved any of these puzzles before if you're watching this. And so instead of calling them sets of moves, I would call them algorithms. It may sound like a scientific word, but it's actually not. What it is it just means pretty much set of moves. That's really what it means. So I'll be saying algorithms for the rest of this video. So just letting you guys know that is what the set, it just means a set of moves. So after that you would get all the edges oriented, well, not oriented. You make the cross on the top and then permute all the edges, or put them on top of the right center. And then you do one set of moves over and over again until all the corners are in the right place. And then you do one algorithm to orient all the corners, just like that. So that's the basics of it. So now let's scramble it up and let's get into this. So I actually haven't done really a beginner video, pretty much at all on this channel. So I was thinking, why not? I haven't actually done one of these, so I'm doing it. So beginner's method is the method that a lot of beginner cubers use. I even used it before the first time I solved Rubik's Cube. So first you're going to make the cross. What I do is I make it on the right center, but for this video, I would recommend you actually do them on the right center. So you see, if you move the bottom layer, because you see these are edges. So the edges only have 2 colors on them, and these are corners. They have 3 colors on them. And also the centers cannot move. Even if you do think you're moving them, they're always going to end up in the same kind of position. So you can see here how we have yellow on the top and red on the front. If we think you're moving this down, you see we still have yellow. Sorry, my video suddenly stopped. But yeah, so the centers will never move. Unless, like, let's say you have a whole layer solved and you move this down. It'll mess up the layer that you have, but the centers won't have moved. You can easily fix it. So yeah, and now what you're going to be doing is looking for all the edges. I would start on white cross because it's the basic one that everyone starts with. It's like usually when you ask someone, hey, what color do you think of first when you think of Rubik's Cube? Honestly, they would more likely think of white. That is actually what I would say. I don't know why, just, yeah, it's also the color that everyone starts with. So I'll make the white cross. A lot of people make the daisy on the top, but I don't understand, like, it just adds a bunch of moves to it. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to start with the cross. So you're going to take an edge that has white on it, and let's say you have none on the top. So I'm trying to get, okay, so you see how we have none on the layer? You're going to find one, so let's say you have this one. It's white and orange edge. You're going to move it down, so let's say the first one that you see is right here. You see the white and orange, but if you move it down just like that, the white isn't going to be attached. So instead, what you're going to want to do is move it. So turn the cube and do this. So you're going to have it on the left or on the right side. I have mine on the left. You're going to want to move it down and like that. So now it's on the bottom layer, and move it over. So you can do that for all of them. So I actually brought a green one down. Sometimes you will do that. The next one that I see is a white and red edge. You're going to want to, so you see it's sort of in the right place, but you actually need to go here. And also white isn't attached to its center. So you're going to move it over like that so it matches up with the center and bring it down. For the last one, I have this. Now this set of moves, because you can't just move it down like that because it'll bring this out of the way and it won't be in the right place. So don't do that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move the cross so that, actually that's a little more advanced. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this to the top. So you can either do this where you move it to the top layer, or do this and then it's in the top layer. So more likely you would do this. This is called F, which stands for front. So actually I should have shown you the notations in the beginning of the video, but here's the notation. So if you hold at any position, this will be up, or U, the U layer. I think of it, U stands for up, and this is up on the cube, or top. So this is U. This layer is called R, which stands for right. This layer right here, this is U, this is R. Then we have F, which stands for front. This is the F layer. And then we have L, which stands for left. B, which stands for back. And then D, which stands for down. So now that you know the notations, so what you're going to do is you're going to bring an edge to the top layer if it's not in any position where you can insert it easily. So I would do an F move, there's also prime. So prime stands for, it's pretty much just counterclockwise. So you see this is clockwise. So if you hold a layer in front of you, a clock goes this way. And if you move the layer that way, that's clockwise. So there's no notation after it. So there's F and F prime, or there's prime moves and two moves. So the prime moves is where we move it counterclockwise. So you see here how we have this, and now we're moving it counterclockwise. That is prime. And then we have U2, R2, F2, you know, that stands for moving. That pretty much means you're moving the layer twice. So you do, so let's say we have up, or U. We're going to do a U2. Then we would do U2. We turn the layer twice. So that's kind of what those notations mean. So you're going to make the cross. So we have our last edge. I would do L prime, U prime, L, which brings it to the top layer, and it's also in the right position. So let's say you had it on the right side. You do R, U, and R prime. And there we go. So now let's say you had it like this. If you have an edge like this, you just do an F move. Or if you had it on the left, you do F prime. Okay? And lastly, let's say you have this. You have an edge here, in the back, or on the left. So if you have it on the right side, you're going to do like this. So you see, if you just bring it over here and bring it in, it's not going to match. You're going to want to bring it either to the right or to the left and do R prime, F, R. Or if you have it on the left side, you do L, F prime, L prime. And if you have it in the back, you'll do U, R prime, F, R. Okay? So the last one is where you have it right here. You're going to do, you see how blue isn't attached to the center? It's on the top. You do U prime, R prime, F, R. And there you go. So once you have your cross solved, next you're going to need to insert these corners. So you see, there's 8 corners on the cube. Only 4 of them have white on them. So you're going to want to find one edge that has white on it. So you see how we have a white, blue, and orange corner. And you see how we have the white side, white center, orange center, and blue center. So what you're going to want to do is bring that corner above where it needs to be. Or let's say the first one you see is right here, where it's in the layer, but it's facing the wrong way. So you're going to bring it out of where it is, so put it on the right side and do R, U, R prime. And now it's out, and then you can insert it how I show you. In sort of the way I show you. So first, you're going to bring it above where it is, and do this move 3 times. So if you have the white side of this corner on the top, you'll do this. R, U, R prime, U prime, 3 times. There you go. Now, once you have the corner in, now they have the corner in. So now, let's say you have the corner above where it needs to be, but the white isn't on the top. So it'll either be on the left or on the right if it's on the top. So you'll want to have put on the right side, because R moves are the easiest to do when you're a beginner. Actually, if you're left-handed, I'll show you how to do it on the left side. So let's say you have on the right, but you're actually left-handed. You'll do L prime, U prime, L, U, L prime, U prime, L, U, L prime, U prime, L, U. Okay? It does the exact same thing. So now, find any other ones that are on the top and have white on the top. So do the set moves that applies to you. Next, other ones. So you see, once you bring a corner out and it's not on the top, you'll either do this move if it's on the right. So if you have the corner on the right and the white side of the corner is on the right, you'll do R, U, R prime. Let's say you have it on the right and white is facing you. Put the corner on the left and do L prime, U prime, L. Okay? I know this is a lot to remember, but if you watch the video enough times or go through that enough times, you will know it. So now I have one more corner and it's actually on the top. So do your set of moves and there you go. You have a whole layer solved. The next step is to bring all of the edges in. There's 2 algorithms they need to know for this. So first of all, find one edge that doesn't have yellow on it. So I have one in the top layer. I will look in the top layer first. So if you don't have any, I'll show you what to do in a little bit. Actually, I'll show you right now, just in case. So you see, let's say, I'm trying to find one. Okay. There we go. So let's say you have none in the top layer. And all of them are in a spot, but none of them are actually in the right place, as you can see. So find one, just take one of them, and bring them out like this. R, U prime, R prime, and then insert the corner like you normally would. So normally you would do R, U, R prime, right? Instead, so you don't bring the edge in, so put that spot on your left side and do U prime, L prime, U, L. There you go. Now you brought the edge out. So this edge has blue and orange on it. Here's the blue center and here's the orange center. So hold the edge in front of you like this. And look at the color that's facing you. And for me it's blue. I'll find the blue center and put the blue on top of the blue center. Okay? And do this set of moves. So you see how the slot that this edge needs to go into? You can tell by bringing it right here. You see, now it's in the right place. If you have to do an F move and it matches up, okay. So do that until you see where it needs to go. It needs to go in this slot. Hold that on your left. And if the edge needs to go to the right, hold that slot on your right. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. So if it's on your left, if the slot is on your left, do U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. And there you go. Now it's in. So here. Okay, so let's say the edge needs to go to the right. You'd hold that slot on the right and do U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. And there you go, it's in. So you'll do that set of moves until all the edges are in. So, you see this needs to go to the right. I'll do that set of moves. Sorry, my dogs. And then just, it needs to go to the right again. And lastly, this one needs to go to the left. There we go. So once you have all of your edges in, now it's time for the top layer. So this, what you'll need to look for first is how many edges, so all the edges left have yellow on them. You'll want to look, see how many edges, the yellow part of the edges are facing up. You see, I have none. None, there's no yellow showing on the edges, except on the front, back, left, and right. This means you have a dot case. You see, besides the corners, you see it's a dot in the center. So if you have this, you'll want to do this set of moves. Hold the cube in any position, but make sure yellow's on the top. So you can hold it with red facing you, green facing you, orange facing you, or blue facing you. However you want, but make sure yellow's on the top. Do this move, set of moves. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R, F prime. And now you see you have two yellow showing if you had no edges showing, or no yellow part of the edges showing. So now, this is called an L case. If you look at only the edges in the center, you'll see it looks like an L. So you're going to want to hold the L in the back left. Or if you're holding like this, in the top left. You see? Then you're going to do this set of moves. Make sure the L is in the back left. If you have this L case, you'll want to do F, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. Okay? So now you see you have the cross on the top. Now let's say you didn't have that and you had this case where two edges are oriented or two yellows are showing. But they make a line. So you see we have a line. You're going to want to hold it, the line going from left to right. And do this set moves. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And there you go. Now you have the cross on the top. Next, you're going to want to you're going to make sure all the edges are attached to the right center. You see we only have one. You see? No. This edge is matched to its right center, but none of the other ones are. Now, let's say you have two. You see, we have one edge here and one edge here, and two are not. Now, what you're going to want to do is make sure you only have one. So move the cube either to a U prime, and look, you see we have one, or do a U, and look. See, if you do a U move or a U prime move, if you have this kind of case, we have two edges attached to the right center, and then it should get it. Now, let's say, here, let me get the other case. So let's say, wait, trying to figure out, I just want to move these two. I'm trying to get a certain case here. There we go. So let's see, I have this case. So it's where you have two edges attached to their right center, but they're across from each other. Okay? You're going to want to do this set of moves, hold the cube in any position, but make sure yellow's on the top. Do this. R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime. And then check. So we see that we have one edge attached to its right center. Okay? Once you have that, hold that edge in front of you. and do R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime. You might have to do it twice. There we go. So for the future, that is actually called anti-soon. You'll understand what that means once you get faster at the cube. So once you have all the edges attached to the right center, the second to last step is to get all the corners. Whoa, sorry about that, guys. So you'll look at all the corners. You see we have yellow, orange, and blue. It's not in the right place. You can see. Look here. This is not, and this is not. So sometimes you will get one already. But if you have none, if you have no corners in the right place, do this move. U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L, and then you'll check. You see? No, 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 yes. There we go. So once you have one, you'll want to put that corner right here. So I have green in front of me. You'll want to have your corner on the right side. Okay, the right corner on the right side, and do that set of moves again. So it'll be U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L. You'll do that once or twice after you get one in the right place, and then you'll see all of them are in the right place. But I'll show you. This one is yes, 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 and yes. The last step is easy to mess up on. So find one corner that isn't oriented correctly. You see it's in the right place, but it's flipped. You'll want to do this move. So let's say you have this where this just doesn't look right. You can tell because if you have one corner like this and one corner like this, that means it's just flipped. So flip the corner into its other unoriented position and do this set of moves on one of them. So hold one corner on the right side, but facing you, just like this, and do R prime, D prime, R, D, until this corner is solved. There we go. So now it's solved, but the rest of the cube isn't. So that's because we haven't done this other corner. So move that corner in that past corner's position on the right side facing you, and do those set moves until that corner is correctly oriented. There we go, and just orient the top layer. There we go, the Rubik's Cube is solved. Hope this video is helpful for you guys. If this video is helpful, please like and subscribe to this channel. So like this video and subscribe to this channel and turn on post notifications so you get notified every time I post. Bye guys.